The historian Thucydides penned tales of empires wrestling, but even his grand chronicles couldn't weave a spell like Plato's Atlantis, a fable so enthralling it has survived to millennia. Imagine Athens in its prime, not the birthplace of democracy we study today, but a crucible of ideas where young minds sparred under the Acropolis' ancient shade. Here, in this cradle of thought, Plato wove his magic, crafting stories so potent they blurred the line between history and myth. His characters are more than names. They embody the dilemmas that have shaped our world, the very essence of the human condition. In the ethereal realms of philosophy, few names resonate as profoundly as Plato, born around 428 BC. His life was a tapestry woven with the threads of a tumultuous era. His lineage traced back to kings, yet his soul's calling was far from the gilded halls of power. He was the son of Ariston and Parixion, a union blessed by a bloodline that once held Athenian sway. Yet the tranquility of his birth was a prelude to a life marked by upheaval. For when the Peloponnesian War cast its long shadow over Athens, the city's glory was eclipsed by strife. Amid this turmoil, tragedy struck. His older brother Glencon perished in battle, leaving Plato, the philosopher, to navigate the labyrinth of grief and duty. The death of a sibling is a profound loss that can shape one's perspective, and it's no wonder that even Plato, the great philosopher, was affected by it. This early sorrow likely played a role in shaping his outlook on life and his approach to philosophy, influencing his exploration of themes such as mortality, justice, and the human condition. It's almost as if Plato's philosophy was, in part, an attempt to grapple with the complexities of existence, a pursuit that intensified after the loss of his brother. Yet, amid the ruins of war-torn lives, Plato discovered solace and inspiration in unlikely corners. The Oracle of Delphi, with her enigmatic pronouncements, left an indelible mark. Her words, "Beware the abyss," became his guiding light, propelling him on a quest for deeper truths. His mentor, the philosopher Socrates, was another North Star, demonstrating the power of rigorous questioning and relentless pursuit of wisdom. Such were the paradoxes of Plato's life, a blend of privilege and pain, loss and enlightenment. These early experiences were not merely chapters in his biography, but the very foundation upon which he built his philosophical edifice. As Plato delved deeper into the realms of philosophy, he began to notice certain patterns in human behavior and societal structures that puzzled him. For instance, he observed the rise and fall of civilizations, the ebb and flow of fortunes, and the relentless march of time. These contemplations led him to question the nature of reality and the purpose of existence. His observations extended to the realm of politics. He saw the struggles for power and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The corruption he witnessed inspired his concept of the philosopher king, a ruler who, guided by wisdom and virtue, could lead society towards justice and harmony. Plato's reflections on politics were deeply influenced by the turbulent times he lived in, particularly by the decline of Athenian democracy and the emergence of oligarchic rule. He saw firsthand how power could corrupt and how unchecked ambition could lead to tyranny. His idea of the philosopher king emerged as a response to this, a vision of enlightened rule that could guide society towards justice and order. But it was in his dialogue that Plato truly came alive. The Protagoras were the erudite. Protarchus defends the cause of love, not as a mere passing fancy, but as a fundamental human drive essential to the very fabric of society, set a precedent for the kind of profound explorations that would become Plato's hallmark. His diverse range of dialogues covered a plethora of subjects, from metaphysics and epistemology to ethics, politics and aesthetics. Works like The Republic, Symposium and Phaedrus not only grappled with abstract concepts, but also wove in intricate narratives and compelling characters. Through these dialogues, Plato gave life to ideas that had the power to both challenge and transform. One striking aspect of Plato's work was his use of literary devices, such as allegory and metaphor, to convey complex philosophical concepts. In the allegory of the cave from the Republic, for example, he uses the image of prisoners chained in a cave to illustrate the human condition and the pursuit of enlightenment. By employing such vivid imagery, Plato made his philosophy more accessible and memorable, leaving an enduring impact on readers and listeners alike. Yet, amidst this flourishing of thought, a shadow loomed. The Peloponnesian War, a brutal chapter in Greek history, cast its pallor over Athens. The plague, a grim reaper in human form, claimed countless lives, including Plato's beloved, the philosopher Socrates. This wasn't just a personal loss, it was a seismic event in the world of ideas. Socrates' unjust trial and subsequent death were pivotal moments that would forever alter the course of Western thought. In the face of such darkness, Plato didn't falter. His pen, a weapon of resilience, chronicled the teachings of Socrates and explored the depths of human morality. Works like the Apology, the Creed, and the Phaedo immortalized Socrates and his unwavering commitment to truth and justice. These dialogues served not just as a record of a life well lived, but as a testament to the power of the human spirit in the darkest of times. As the war raged and Athens' fortunes waned, Plato's thirst for knowledge only intensified. He ventured beyond the confines of his city, traveling to Egypt, the cradle of ancient wisdom. There he engaged with priests who spoke of esoteric lore, including the enigmatic tale of Atlantis. This mythical island, said to have been swallowed by the sea, became the subject of Plato's profound meditations in Timaeus and Critias. Here, Atlantis served as more than just a lost civilization. It symbolized the hubris of power and the fragility of human endeavors in the face of the cosmos. Amidst his philosophical pursuits, Plato founded his own school, the Academy, which became a beacon of intellectual inquiry. It wasn't just a place of learning, but a community of scholars united in their quest for truth. The Academy's influence was profound, shaping the intellectual landscape of ancient Greece and laying the groundwork for future philosophical schools. However, Plato's relationship with his homeland was a complex one. While he was deeply influenced by Athenian culture, he was critical of its shortcomings. He saw the potential for corruption inherent in democratic systems and the dangers of unbridled ambition. His criticisms, though sharp, were born out of a deep love for his city and a desire to see it flourish. His later years were marked by a growing disillusionment with political affairs. He became increasingly convinced that the ideal form of government was one guided by philosopher kings. However, his efforts to put these ideas into practice in Sicily ended tragically, leaving him disillusioned and disheartened. Despite his immense contributions to philosophy and his status as a leading intellectual of his time, Plato's life was not without its share of personal tragedies. In 361 BC, his beloved brother Glaucon met his demise in Sicily, a significant loss that deeply affected Plato. But perhaps the most profound tragedy of Plato's life was the misunderstanding and persecution he faced for his philosophical ideas. Even though he was a respected member of Athenian society, his radical concepts and his association with Socrates, who was executed for impiety and corrupting the youth, often put him at odds with the prevailing sentiments of his time. His ideas challenged conventional norms and ways of thinking, which sometimes led to ridicule and ostracism. Despite this, Plato's commitment to his philosophical pursuits remained steadfast. In 348 BC, Plato's life came to an end. He passed away peacefully in Athens, leaving behind a legacy that would reverberate through the ages. His works continued to be studied and debated, shaping the course of intellectual history. The academy he founded outlived him, serving as a center of learning for centuries. His contribution to philosophy, literature, and the pursuit of knowledge remain unparalleled, solidifying his position as one of the greatest thinkers of the ancient world and a beacon of enlightenment for all of humanity. As the tale of Atlantis echoed through time, it sparked wonder and debate. Historians pondered its veracity, searching for traces of a sunken land. Explorers yearned to uncover its secrets, driven by dreams of hidden temples and irrefutable proof. Yet perhaps the true magic of Plato's tale lay not in its historical accuracy, but in its ability to transcend time and geography. For Atlantis became a metaphor for the human experience, a reflection of our aspirations and our flaws. In the hushed tones of twilight, when the world softens and shadows lengthen, let us return to the timeless narrative that is Plato's Atlantis. Join me as we delve into a world where history intertwines with myth, where empires rise and fall, and where the human spirit navigates the labyrinth of existence. Whether you seek adventure, enlightenment, or simply a captivating tale, the story of Atlantis promises a journey that is both exhilarating and introspective. It's a voyage that invites you to confront your beliefs, question your perceptions, and embrace the enigma that is the human condition. So let us embark on this extraordinary adventure together, exploring the depths of a story that has captivated minds for millennia. Let the tale of Atlantis envelop you, transporting you to a realm where the boundaries of reality are blurred, and the power of storytelling knows no bounds. The expedition is over. There's nothing there. All we found was this. That's right. Another expedition. Another disappointment. They all are. I should have known better than to come here. And then I found it. A broken shard. Just a piece of ceramic. Hardly anything. But it meant something to me. I knew I had finally found what I was looking for. In the dim vaults of Renaissance libraries, where dust motes danced like lost souls in slanted light, piercing stained glass, Ignatius Donnelly pored over Plato's texts, his eyes burning with feverish zeal. A Minnesota politician turned Atlantis hunter, his psyche a whirlpool of optimism clashing with despair. He wrote books, gave lectures, charted courses, sought sponsors, funding his voyages to prove Plato's dialogues. Yet he knew that Atlantis may be an illusion, a dream of perfection lost to greed and ambition, a civilization swallowed by the sea, much like his own hopes were being swallowed by the vast Atlantic. Though destined to ridicule and financial ruin, his legacy lives on through those who follow his path. Donnelly's 1882 book, Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, electrified readers with its Atlantic proposal, predating the New World's discovery. This sparked a craze. Explorers set sail to find Plato's sunken paradise. Their journeys led them to the Azores, or mid-Atlantic as possible locations. But despite Donnelly's enthusiasm, hard evidence eluded them, leaving him haunted by maps of submerged ridges and images of ghostly peaks rising from depths like accusing fingers. Among them was Colonel Percy Fawcett, an English explorer driven by Donnelly's work. Setting off in 1925 to the Amazon jungles of South America, Donnelly had suggested the possibility of Atlantis existing there. It was an intriguing theory, one that captivated Fawcett's adventurous spirit. However, the jungle was dense and unforgiving, hiding secrets beneath its thick canopy. As Fawcett ventured deeper into the Emerald Labyrinth, he began to see strange things, plants that seemed to writhe unnaturally, shapes that flickered at the edge of his vision. Were these figments of his imagination or signs left behind by an ancient civilization? For 10 years, he searched, hacking away at the undergrowth, discovering traces of a lost world. Vines grew around carved stones, trees took root in crumbling buildings. Did he find evidence of Atlantis, or was he merely stumbling upon the remnants of time? Fawcett's soul was torn between the lure of the unknown and his duty to return home. With each passing day, his obsession grew, leading him deeper into the heart of the Amazon, where he vanished, never to be seen again. His bones were never found, leaving behind a haunting image of a machete-hacked path disappearing into green hell. His expedition's final report read, "We must push on ahead, though death awaits us, for we are on the threshold of a great discovery." In the 1960s, Santorini, a volcanic Greek isle, drew Atlantis theorists after its massive Bronze Age eruption. Archaeologists spied in Marinatos unearthed Minoan palaces buried under ash, fueling speculation that Plato's narrative mirrored this cataclysmic event. Yet science demanded proof, not mere whispers of myth. Haunted by conflicting truths, Marinatos met his tragic end in 1974, During an excavation, the earth collapsed, crushing his body like Atlantis, burying his dreams forever, as if nature itself was closing the book on his theories. His last dig revealed a fresco of bulls and ships fleeing a giant wave, perhaps an omen of the pyroclastic wave that would end his life. Then there's Morocco's Sahara, where satellite scans in the 2000s unveiled circular formations hinting at man-made origins. Geologist George S. Alexander became obsessed with Plato's dimensions, launching expeditions to the Sahara's edge. He scoured the landscape, searching for remnants of Atlantis. Yet his inner war between data and delusion deepened the gloom of the desert nights. His team endured sandstorms that buried their camps, leaving a haunting tableau of flapping tents battling the wind, while Alexander's dreams of discovery crumbled like ancient pottery. In the 2010s, Spain's sun-drenched coasts beckoned explorers seeking Plato's lost kingdom. National Geographic dispatched teams off Cadiz, where Roman wrecks lay scattered, tempting divers to uncover more. But instead of Atlantean wonders, they found only more Roman rings, a stark reminder of history's echoes. Team leader Robert Ballard, famed for discovering the Titanic, grappled with the allure and isolation of fame, torn between the public's thirst for mysteries and his need to solve them. Conflicted by unanswered questions, he retreated into himself, facing a different kind of darkness, the chilling void of his own mortality. Later years saw him haunted by health's decline, his steps faltering, his dives growing shallower. The ocean's pull remained, but the mysteries it held seemed less alluring and more daunting. Emerging from murky depths, divers surfaced with tales of shadowy figures, elusive glimpses of submerged structures, and currents that pulled like vengeful spirits. But tangible proof remained hidden, leaving a haunting question echoing in the vast emptiness. In Bolivia's high Andes, Lake Titicaca's deep waters concealed mysteries as old as time. By the early 1900s, rumors swirled about enigmatic ruins below the surface. Geologist Arthur Posnanski, captivated by legends, dove in, convinced he'd find evidence of ancient civilizations lost to the ages. Armed with charts and maps, he charted potential locations, seeking gateways to a bygone era. But academia dismissed his theories as fantastical. Undeterred, Posnanowski returned again and again, his obsession growing. He envisioned the lake as a portal to the past, a gateway to Atlantis. Yet his efforts yielded only scorn and ridicule as he pursued his dream, unaware that his own fate was mirroring the mysteries he sought to uncover. Finally, in 1946, he died believing he had discovered the entrance to the legendary Golden City. His death went unnoticed, another forgotten grave in a world that valued progress over relics of the past. As the waters of Lake Titicaca lapped against the shore, the only witness to Posnanski's final dive were the mountains standing guard over the secrets of the deep. With each expedition, Atlantis receded further into legend, becoming a metaphor for lost innocence and the allure of the unknown. Yet seekers pressed on, their tragedies echoing the poem's warnings. Divers surfaced with tales of haunting underwater voids. Explorers stumbled upon tombs filled with the bones of those who dared to dream. And archaeologists unearthed artifacts that whispered of a glorious past now swallowed by the sea. Through centuries of shipwrecks, bankruptcies, and forgotten graves, the legend endured, shaping the destinies of those who dared to chase its phantom shores. One poignant chapter unfolded in the 1930s on the Greek Isle of Crete. Sir Arthur Evans, captivated by Minos and his mythical realm, poured his energy into restoring Knossos, the island's Bronze Age capital. As the palace walls rose from the earth, so did speculation of Atlantis, weaving a tapestry of myths and reality. Evans saw connections where others saw coincidences, forging a narrative that enthralled the world. Yet his grandiosity invited scorn. His death in 1941 amid World War II's bombs, echoing the poem's prophecy. The palace halls stood empty, save for the ghosts of his dreams. As bombs fell on Knossos, the line between myth and reality blurred. leaving a haunting question: was Atlantis real, or was it merely a story lost to the sands of time? Each generation grappled with these echoes, their fates mirroring Plato's own conflict between the rational and the sublime. The poet who sought to banish myths even as he wove his most enduring tale, Atlantis, the lost city, a beacon of wisdom swallowed by the waves, leaving humanity to grapple with the wreckage of its past. For what is a civilization without its memories, a people without their roots, a legacy without its home? Is Atlantis merely a whisper in the wind, or a truth hidden beneath the waves? Perhaps the answer lies not in the depths of the ocean, but in the depths of our collective soul, a reflection of our longing for a world both perfect and lost, a civilization that embodied wisdom before it was drowned in the tides of greed and ambition. In the muted glow of 2025's high-tech labs, where screens flickered like cold flames against sterile walls, heavy with anticipation and dread, Michael Donnellan stared at sonar scans, his face etched with lines of obsession. An archaeologist torn between empirical rigor and mythic allure, his soul's divide, dooming him to controversies, isolation, and career's collapse. Born in the 1980s to a family of scholars, Donnellan chased degrees but questioned history's gaps. The tragic hero story is tragically common. A hero doesn't realize he's become one until he's already too far gone. But sometimes it's the only way to survive. His childhood was secure, nurtured by parents who doted on their only child. They lived in a coastal town, its harbor filled with tales of sunken ships and drowned men, stories that sparked Donnellan's fascination with the sea's mysteries. Those tales laid the foundation for his future obsessions, a fascination that would lead him to uncover secrets best left undisturbed. Years blurred in a montage of academic excellence, each degree a stepping stone on the path to unraveling the past. Yet something gnawed at Donnellan, a feeling that traditional history was a mosaic with crucial pieces missing. This inner conflict would become his torment. Data-driven archaeologists wrestling with an intuitive pull toward the enigmatic Atlantis. The year is 2025. After a decade of relentless work, Donnellan has assembled a team and secured sponsorship for an expedition off the coast of Cadiz, Spain. Using state-of-the-art equipment like LiDAR and sonar, they scan the seabed. Days turn into weeks, and the breakthrough comes unexpectedly. 3 concentric walls rise from the seabed, mapped in intricate detail by LiDAR, their edges cut by deep trenches like scars. Etched between them, a network of canals radiate outward, subtly marked by sonar, and in the heart of the formation, a rectangular ruin echoes the shape of the legendary Temple of Poseidon. The dimensions are uncanny, matching Plato's description verbatim. The sheer scale of this discovery shakes Donnellan to his core. Yet there's more. Historical records hint at a 9600 BC catastrophe along this coastline, possibly a tsunami or a quake. As Donnellan pored over the scans, he saw not just concentric walls, but the ghost of a great city, its streets and temples submerged beneath the waves. He felt a profound connection to the past, a tangible link to the cradle of Western civilization. In the heart of the Atlantic, Cadiz stands as a silent testament to a forgotten past. It's a discovery that could rewrite history, a revelation that stirs both wonder and fear within Donnellan. For Michael Donnellan, the discovery was more than just an archaeological find. It was a pilgrimage into the depths of his soul, a confirmation of his deepest beliefs, but also a descent into his own private hell. He presented his findings at the Cosmic Summit 2025, a global stage where intellects converge. His presentation is met with a mix of awe and skepticism, but the seeds of doubt are sown. Historians question the leap from geological formations to a lost civilization. The weight of his claims crushes media coverage, branding Donnellan and his work as a modern myth. But even in the face of such negativity, Donnellan's conviction remains steadfast. For him, the submerged ruins are more than just rocks and sediment. They're a portal to a lost world, a gateway to the birthplace of Western civilization. Despite the rising tide of criticism, Donolan presses on, driven by an insatiable curiosity and the need to prove his critics wrong. Each wave of opposition only strengthens his resolve, pushing him further into the tempestuous depths of his quest. Back in his hometown, Donolan's personal life is crumbling. His wife, Sarah, once supportive of his endeavors, grows distant. The strain of his obsessive work and the constant barrage of criticism from his peers weighs heavily on their marriage. Sarah feels neglected, her love drowned out by the deafening roar of his ambition. Their once happy home is now a battlefield of resentment and unspoken words. The cool touch of Cadiz waters mirrors the growing chill between them. One stormy evening, Sarah confronts Michael about his neglect. The argument escalates, their years of love and sacrifice crashing between them like waves on a stormy sea. In a moment of painful clarity, Sarah realizes she can't navigate the turbulent waters of Michael's obsession alone. With a heavy heart, she makes the agonizing decision to leave him, seeking solace and peace in a life that no longer includes Michael Donolan. As she steps out into the rain-lashed night, her silhouette framed in the doorway, Michael realizes he has lost a part of himself, a piece of his soul that will never be recovered. As the storm rages around him, Michael's determination hardens. He throws himself into his work, seeking solace in the depths of his research. The absence of Sarah's love only fuels his obsession with uncovering the truth about Atlantis, driving him deeper into the maelstrom of his quest. Donolan's obsession with the discovery consumes him entirely. Sleepless nights spent poring over maps and historical texts, neglecting his health and those around him. His single-minded pursuit of the truth pushes him to the brink, blurring the line between genius and madness. His colleagues grow alarmed as his behavior becomes increasingly erratic, his brilliance overshadowed by his growing instability. Some suggest a break, a retreat from the consuming darkness of his quest. But Donolan, lost in the labyrinth of his own mind, cannot be dissuaded. The closer he delves into the enigma of Atlantis, the more his grip on reality seems to slip, his obsession threatening to drag him down into the abyss. With renewed vigor, Donolan returns to the coast of Cadiz. The frigid Atlantic bites at his skin as he dives into the churning waters. The sea, once a source of wonder, now tests him, mirroring the turmoil within. Storms batter the small boats that venture out, tossing them about like toys in a giant's bath. Divers disappear into the churning depths, lost to the unforgiving currents. The very elements seem to conspire against Donolan's quest, a tangible manifestation of the forces that threaten to engulf him. But Donolan presses on, undeterred by the dangers that lurk beneath the waves. For him, the allure of discovery is too strong to resist. On one fateful dive, tragedy strikes. A member of his crew, a jovial giant of a man named Finn, is caught in a sudden current and dragged down into the inky black depths. Desperate attempts to reach him fail, and the lifeless weight of his body surfaces hours later, bloated and pale, eyes vacant as the abyss. The loss shatters the team, a grim reminder of the sea's unforgiving nature. Yet, amidst the grief, Donolan's resolve hardens. He sees in the tragedy a challenge, a test of his own mortality and dedication to his craft. Donolan's journey leads him through uncharted waters, both physically and emotionally. The submerged ruins whisper tales of a forgotten past, while the treacherous seas around Cadiz test his limits. Each new discovery deepens the mystery, pulling him further into a labyrinth of intrigue. But with every revelation, the emotional toll on Donolan grows heavier. The solitude of his obsession, the skepticism of his peers, the haunting specter of his failed marriage, and the tragedy that befell his comrade all converge in a crescendo of emotional turmoil. On his final dive, as he swims through the eerie silence of the submerged ruins, Donolan experiences a profound epiphany. He realizes that the discovery of Atlantis, if real, was not a blessing, but a curse. The advanced yet doomed society hinted at by the submerged structures serves as a stark warning, a cautionary tale of hubris and destruction. Plato's moral resonates through time. a timeless message of pride and its consequences. In the end, the truth of Donnellan's discovery remains elusive, a mirage shimmering on the horizon of human understanding. Discredited by his peers and tormented by his own demons, he vanishes on a final survey, his boat found adrift, his scans clutched like precious relics. Yet the spirit of his discovery lives on. Other sites from Australia's Ice Age to the Atlantic's ancient formations tease at hidden truths, while Cadiz's walls echo with the tragic lament of a bygone era. As we gaze into the haunting depths of Atlantis, the question lingers: did Michael Donnellan uncover a real city, or was it a mirage born of obsession and despair? In the grand tapestry of human history, the legacy of Atlantis continues to captivate and elude our grasp, a timeless enigma that stirs our deepest desires for knowledge and understanding. The spirit of Michael Donnellan, forever bound to the mysteries of the deep, reminds us of the allure and peril of chasing the unknown. Like moths drawn to a flickering flame, we are irresistibly pulled towards the enigma of Atlantis, forever seeking to unravel its secrets, knowing that some truths are best left undisturbed.